Kate with the business. James from Media Watch, good evening, sir. How are you?
Very well, thanks, Mark.
Another person who could have added to the wine counter in France. I know, because you enjoy the best things in life.
I do.
And what's wrong with that? All in moderation, of course. Now then, there's something fairly scandalous happening here in this country. Something called La Ligue du LOL. This is a group of blokes, ostensibly, there's some women involved too, who've been harassing and bullying and cyberbullying people here in France, mainly women they've been picking on.
That's right. So it was a closed Facebook group, which has since shut down, but it included a lot of prominent French journalists at a time. And even though this was a closed group on Facebook, most of the harassment took place on Twitter using anonymous accounts. So it was it's been described as a bit of an old boys club of, I suppose, guys who were picking on certain content on Twitter, which at the time was a smaller sort of talking shop, I suppose, online talking shop for journalists a lot of the time and stuff like that. It didn't have the big mass effect that it has now. French journalism has its own bullying club on Twitter. In any case, the left-wing newspaper Libération broke the story, suspended 2 of its own journalists, and then it set in motion a lot of people telling their stories on Twitter about the harassment that they had experienced.
2 journalists from the left-wing daily Libération, which is a very egalitarian, liberal kind of...
Which is kind of one of the more surprising elements in all this. As this tweet says, senior French journalists should use their power against matters like sexism, racism, discrimination, instead of starting it all up. So it did shock a lot of people. One of the incidents that got... one sec now, where is this account? One of the most gutting things, as Ryan Broderick of BuzzFeed points out, that the LOL League have been confirmed to have done is set up a fake job interview with a woman, secretly record it and put the audio on SoundCloud. Now, that was the editor-in-chief of a very well-known magazine in France, Les Inrocks, and he has, had to also been suspended. So it was a lot of people in senior positions, and it was a lot of behaviour that is really quite appalling.
It's pretty humiliating, isn't it?
It is. And so it's shone the spotlight on, I suppose, a certain kind of cliquish attitude in maybe media circles in France, and a whole lot of questions that go with that, such as what should the consequences be. Libération had an editorial today saying, actually, we're now really thinking about how we should approach the broader culture. For example, should journalists working for our newspaper be allowed to have anonymous social media accounts?
How can you check it?
That's right.
How can you check it? You can't check it, can you?
That's right. And then, but they do point out in that editorial as well that freedom of expression is obviously a very important and key part of democratic principles, but that this is sort of the dark side of that. You certainly see it on social networks. This is an article talking about that as well. The side that the fact that social media does allow for trolling, it allows for people to say things that they would never dream of saying face to face to somebody, hiding behind anonymity. So it's the dark side of, I suppose, the freedom of expression that comes with.
And some of the things this Ligue du LOL has done are quite really gruesome, aren't they?
They are,
involving photoshopping women's heads on pornographic images. It's all pretty grim, isn't it?
It was really sick kind of stuff. And the fact that journalists who you would expect to be kind of beyond reproach on questions like this are engaged in this kind of trolling makes it all the more shocking still.
I wonder if they're going to take away their press cards and all the rights that go with the press card.
I suspect it could happen to some of the people involved.
I wonder, because that would be the ultimate thing to do to them, I think. Get that away. So they search them in their pocket, maybe then they'll alter what they do. That's probably the best thing to do.
Indeed.
Now then, we'll wait to see what happens on that one, France. Now then, there's another blackface controversy. This time, Katy Perry's involved. What's she done?
Katy Perry, and she said she's saddened by the blackface shoe collection backlash. And in fact, the shoes have been withdrawn now from the market. It's the latest in a series of blackface scandals affecting merchandise. You can see here they were in black and beige, and it's obviously the black shoes that have got this comes hot on the heels, so to speak. Hot on the heels.
I like it. Very good. Now just clarify, that jumper
Gucci.
has nothing to do with Katy Perry, that jumper.
Absolutely nothing.
Those shoes do, and they've contravened several rules on taste, I think, haven't they, as well as the blackface thing.
Well, the Gucci one got an awful lot of upset. Some people are now saying, is it going a bit far? This is an Australian opinion piece saying, Katy Perry's shoe was just a shoe and it's time to stop getting outraged by every little thing. Can a shoe be racist? I guess it's a question of, it's a debate. It's a debate.
Indeed. Finally, a dating app for cows.
I love the name.
Oh la vache!
Very good.
Yeah, okay.
Swipe right with your hoof, as The Guardian said.
Yeah.
This is for, I suppose, farmers, really, because cows don't necessarily have the capacity to swipe. And
I get it.
Whatever.
So it's a joke. So pull the other one.
Right,
sorry.
Tudder. So it's a compound of. Well, there you go.
So it's
pull
called
the other tudder. So it's a compound, I suppose, of what?
No bull, eh?
It's. I was going to say Twitter. It's not Twitter. It's Tinder.
Tinder.
Tinder and udder, and you've got Tudder.
You
and
have to guide me on these things. I lose track.
Help match the breeds and whatnot. I suppose the easy sort of gag is people do tend to behave like animals anyway on geolocalized dating apps. So why not take it? Why not take it to the ultimate expression?
You're talking about areas I don't know.
Well, it gets a bit frenzied. So people. It's like it's like a consumer process. So
I noticed someone upstairs in work one day sort of zipping through pictures of women like that, and I thought, you're really good. Get a life.
There you go. So if you behave like an animal, why not just market it for animals?
Well, all I can say is cows are beautiful creatures and they deserve the very, very best. And Valentine's Day coming up, well, who knows? James, thank you very much indeed. Great to see you. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Great to see you, sir. James with Media Watch, Kate with the business, as ever, spot on. Thank you for staying with us.